Hi, I'm Kyle Locke, and today I'm going to talk about the retirement of Tony Romo from the National Football League. I'm going to go over his accomplishments, his path to success, and then what his next step is in life. I'm going to go ahead and show my audience members. So one of the best quotes about Tony Romo comes from the Cowboys owner, the person that signed him from the beginning and until now, Jerry Jones. He says, Tony's been a wonderful representative of the Cowboys organization for 14 years, and he left everything that he had on the field. I feel like to have your owner say that about you out in public when there's been a lot of adversity about your career speaks a lot of volume to your character, your work ethic, and your ability to play football. These are some of the sources that I use. Now, NFL.com reported on Tony Romo back in 2015. They said his combination of rambling playmaker and precision passer fits perfectly. What they meant by that is that the Cowboys never really had a team to surround Tony. He had to make a lot of his own plays, and because of that, he also kind of suffered and didn't get into the win column as much as people wanted him to. But he did end up being the Cowboys' all-time leader. He had 2,829 completions, over 34,000 passing yards, and 248 touchdowns. Which, when you compare that to Troy Aikman, who was a Hall of Famer already, he was on the All-Pro team countless times. He won 3 Super Bowls. When you compare it to Troy Aikman had a better offensive line. He had Emmitt Smith to hand the ball off to, and he had Michael Irvin, one of the best wide receivers in the game. Another quote from Jerry Jones, he said, "My greatest mistake as an owner was to never surround Tony with a team that he could take to the Super Bowl." A direct quote from Tony back in 2015, he said, "I feel like I'm going to be with the Cowboys the rest of my career. Definitely. I love it." That speaks volumes to his commitment to the organization, because a lot of players will move organizations for more money, but Tony, he knew what he had in Dallas. He thought he could win, and he trusted in his teammates and his leadership. So, like I was saying, he spent 13 years with the Cowboys, all 13 years of his career with the same team. His path to success was a little different. Most players that end up being all pros, they are drafted in, the first through the 4th round. He didn't even get drafted in 8 rounds. He was undrafted, signed as a free agent back in 2003. He went to 4 Pro Bowls, which is amazing considering that he came from a small school, a Division II school that no one really knew about, and he made it all the way to the top. So there was 13 quarterbacks taken in that draft year ahead of him, and only one today is still playing football, if that speaks anything about his commitment. Besides Jerry Jones, I think the next best person to talk about Tony Romo would be Jason Witten. Jason Witten he was drafted the same year as Tony Romo, spent his whole career with the Cowboys as well. So 13 years together, one of the most reliable tight ends in the game, especially for Tony to throw to. He said players had to play better and coaches had to coach better against Tony. He said, "I tend to believe over time, the historians will remember Tony as one of the great signal callers of the game." So, like I said, he didn't win a Super Bowl. He definitely wasn't the best in the NFL at the time, but he will be remembered, and I think that's one thing people don't realize now. So I'm going to go ahead and show my audience again. So, the next part in Tony's career, he's retired from the NFL as a player, but he's going to be a sports analyst with CBS as their main anchor on Sunday football games. He said, "I hope that I'm able to make the CBS family proud with their decision." So, some of the things that contributed to his retirement from being a player was multiple injuries, but instead of trying to come back from those injuries and take the spot back from his backup quarterback, he helped train his backup quarterback, Dak Prescott, and he actually ended up winning Rookie of the Year because of Tony's help. So like I said, 13 years with the same organization. He really cares about the Cowboys, and he feels good retiring because he's leaving them with Dak and Zeke, two rookies that have shown that they can play also. We may never see a quarterback as tough as Tony Romo, a broken neck, played with broken ribs and a punctured lung. Just crazy things that anyone else would go to the hospital. He would go back out on the field and try to play. He brings a great personality and knowledge to CBS because of his time with the Cowboys and one of the better offenses in the game. So, to conclude, he's being honored for his accomplishments and records that he set, his unusual path coming from that small school all the way to being an All-Pro, and his professionalism to the end. Whenever he was hurt, he didn't talk bad about his backup quarterback. He didn't talk bad about the organization when they were letting him go. He was a true professional to the end. So, Tony Romo is not the best quarterback there ever was. He didn't win a Super Bowl, and he wasn't the MVP for the league. But over the years, he's garnered the respect of players and coaches around the league, given millions of dollars to charities around Dallas for kids and people in hospitals. And he's provided the Cowboys with a solid foundation and will be remembered as one of the best to play in Dallas. Go ahead and show my audience again. And that's the end.